I was working at the medical office at the time. Medicine's not working.
Were you forced to get the vaccines?
We're imprinted with all kinds of things, the values of other people. Quiet the mind. Stop the chatter. So what makes you ill also makes you well. We remove that limitation.
Pseudoscience. Oh my God, don't get me started. Go ahead.
Yeah. So then after that, and the pandemic and everything, and I just realized that this is not the path I wanted to be on. And so I left her office. My float center is still there. I still take care of my float center and my float clients. But then I had complications from the vaccine and stumbled into homeopathy. And like everything else has been pointed out to me lately, anything I like, I go learn how to do it and get certified.
What does homeopathic stand for? Look for the audience.
Homeopathy is, it goes back to the 1700s. It's basically hair of the dog. So what makes you ill also makes you well. And so very minute doses of things will help you to get well again. When I went through my own healing transformation and experiencing theta healing, it's like, oh, I got to know how to do this. You know, I've been intuitive all of my life, and our whole family, both sides, we just we never talked about it as being a gift, and we weren't really shut down. And so when I came back to Iowa, kind of stirred it all up. Then when kids came along, that intuitive part kind of goes on the back burner, you know, as far as I'm not doing the metaphysical shows that I was doing before. And then when I had my own healing experience, I got to have my spiritual reawakening and reconnecting. And so I became a theta healer. And so looking at theta healing of the energy blockages in our body create the diseases. And so if someone is not ready to understand energy work, we have homeopathy. We have the homeopathic remedies to use. And I get referrals from my mom's office, people who are, you know, ready to ditch pharmaceuticals and take care of themselves. So the most recent example of homeopathic medicine is rust tox. It's made from poison ivy. But when you get exposed to poison ivy, then you take these minute doses of the poison ivy or the rust tox, and that allows your body to stop responding to it, and it takes it out. So you're not doing a steroid injection. You're not covered in chamomile. You're not living in an oatmeal bath. You're just taking the homeopathic remedy. So acute remedies you take more frequently. It also works on long-term things. So I do a whole, it's like a biome. It's a gut reset to, you know, detox you. And
I was reading that. Explain to me more about the gut reset, because I hear a lot of people talking about that on podcasts. Personally, I just did a Viome test. I haven't gotten my results back yet, which is the blood, saliva, and stool that you send out, and then they tell you foods you're allergic to, etc. What are your thoughts on that type of?
I think that medical technology has come so far to be able to, you know, we're not doing the skin tests anymore, and those were just cruel to determine allergens. And I think that just understanding. So that's where the Western medicine side of understanding how you become allergic to things, that you're exposed to them and your body just says enough, you know, and that's what autoimmunes are. Your body is saying, no, this isn't who you need to be. This isn't natural. This isn't right. And it rebels against that. With the homeopathic biome, all the things that most of us have been subjected to, the series that I do, there's 9 different pieces of that. And ideally,
the fluoride, the metals,
these are more subtle than those. I do have detoxes for those, for the polymetal, polyvaccine, polyplastic, polyantibiotics, and Lyme's disease. Here in the Midwest, Lyme's disease is a big thing. And so we can detox from all of those things, as well as the vaccines and the COVID spike. If you had the opportunity to get that spike into your body, it attacks whatever your weakness is. And I've treated a lot of people who've had the blood pressure issue.
By the way, were you forced to get the vaccine? Someone with your medical background and, you know, what you believe in homeopathic wise, I'm shocked that you took the vaccine unless you were forced to.
I was not forced to. I was working at the medical office at the time, and it was the fear factor. I was going to refuse it. And I didn't get it until January of the following year.
Oh, wow.
And then I only got it because my mom is over 70, and long haul was coming out. I had no question that I would be able to be well through if I had gotten it, but I don't have time for a long haul. And so the long haul is what scared me. So the scare tactics, the terrorism, as I will call it, convinced me to get it. But I will never get another one.
So many people have died from those.
Yeah, and I do too. And here in the Midwest, we got things a lot later. We didn't, watching Iowa State's prediction of what was going to happen with the elderly and the things. And thankfully, we did not have that here.
Thank God.
Yeah, and I look at the folks who I felt were most likely to get it and have a bad outcome did not get it, but they also had a very healthy idea of life. They had
Yes.
their
Yes.
spiritual connection of, well, if it's my time, it's my time, and I'm okay with that. And they
Yes.
didn't play into the fear.
Yes.
And I think that was one of the best things that got them through that.
Every day of life, it's the battle of love versus fear. Which one leads you? That's anyone I know that speaks on the journey that you and I are on, what we focus on. That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah. And every day is a gift. Every
is.
day is Christmas. It
It
is
is.
a gift. And you have the choice of what you do. And if your choices are not good, I beat the positivity and the authentic drum all the time.
When you said your mother is a doctor in osteopathy, what is that, by the way? Let them know what that is. So when you're getting referred clients, what type of clients? What are they ailing from?
So osteopathic medicine is very similar to a regular MD, but a DO goes on and takes additional training that works in the osteopathic way of doing the manipulation. So if you think about it, someone who does reflexology works on hands and feet. Chiropractors focus primarily on the spine, and an osteopath works on the whole body. And it's very holistic in looking at the source of, you go in and your big toe hurts. Well, is it your big toe? No, it might be something's off in your back.
How does that get determined? Is it acupuncture? How does she determine that?
A lot of what she does is actually intuitive when we come down to it, but it's listening to your patient. If you listen to someone, they tell you what's wrong. You as a Reiki master, when someone comes in, yes, we're reading their energies, but we're also listening to them. We're listening. If you stop with your preconceived ideas and you actually listen to what the person is telling you, they tell you what's wrong, not in medical terms. So an osteopath is looking at people holistically and people who are wanting to have a manipulation, which most people would relate to being similar to a chiropractic manipulation.
Yes.
There's a lot of soft tissue things. And so looking at, instead of if someone comes in and they're not feeling well and it's discovered they're on the path of becoming a type 2 diabetic, she's not going to just hand you a pill. She's going to tell you why. What is it that's changed in your body? What is your dietary needs? What do you need to do those things? Sometimes folks that she's referring to me, they don't want to do the biologics and all the things that are coming down the pike. Or psoriasis. A lot of them, it's the bug bites, taking Apsis for your bug bites. And then a few days later when they itch, taking the Letum, doing the poison ivy protocol. Someone who's had a really bad encounter with poison ivy this year, they get an injection. She refers them to me so they can take the preventative to prevent it for next season. Looking at those type of things. People who are not getting results with traditional Western medicine. They're not happy with taking another pill. And my opinion of Western medicine is that it just masks and suppresses what's going on.
It gives you side effects for other things.
Take this drug, take that drug. And if you take this one, then you're going to take this one, which means this.
I mean, it's a money.
Oh yeah, follow the money in about everything in the world. Yeah.
In the world, exactly. Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah, that's what's frustrating for me on that. Why would she need to refer them to you if she's already doing that type of, you know what I mean? What are you doing differently than she's doing? Is it the detox kits? Is that what separates you?
Yeah.
Okay.
She will refer them to me to do homeopathy. She will also refer them to me because she recognizes that on a spiritual level, that's what's causing it. That root cause of their disease is not, medicine's not working. So looking at the person who is having anxiety, is having the fear, is doing the different things. And she herself, she had a pain in her side. It was on her left side. There's no organs on your left side. And she had this pain. And the pain was deep enough. It even drove her to go get some radiological studies that said nothing's there. She and I did a session and we uncovered a limiting belief that went back to her childhood. And she'd been dealing this for months, and she tends to be stoic and not complaining about things or anything. So for her to come to the point that she would acknowledge that she was having this pain, to have the radiological study, and there's nothing there. And I said, hey, let's just address this.
Mhm.
Her pain's been gone for years.
So how did you address it though?
So I did theta healing.
What is theta healing?
So theta healing it was started with vinyl stibal. So it is a process of me dropping into that theta brainwave state, and you practice it often enough that I'm there. And the theta brainwave is what we're talking about. Theta brainwave is the state you reach during a meditation. It's also the state that a hypnotist takes you to. So that's that
You're
brainwave.
bringing them to this state is what you're saying.
No, I do it on behalf. They don't have to do it.
Okay.
They don't have to do it. But I am able to drop into that theta brainwave, and I co-create with their higher power, be it God, creator, source, universe.
Beautiful guys. Yeah.
Yeah. To help them to release that trauma, that stuck feeling, that limiting belief. And those limiting beliefs come into our life because I believe that we are souls having a human experience. We bring a lot with us, lessons and things.
Yes.
And then in the process of our human experience, we're imprinted with all kinds of things, the values of other people, the opinions, the situations. The simple example I like to use is riding your bicycle. So you ride your bicycle and you wipe out on some loose gravel. You skin your knee, and it's like, okay, it wasn't anything major. Some, kiss a boo-boo, some band-aids, you're fine. The next time you're out riding on your bicycle and you see loose gravel and you go, it's like, oh, we can't do that. We can't go near there. You've learned your lesson. But it also, that subconscious creates that lesson to the point that now you won't go anywhere near loose gravel because you have that fear. And sometimes it can even be when you see the loose gravel, you can also feel that pain in your knee that's now healed. So in the process of theta healing, we identify, oh, it's the loose gravel, that's the situation. And then we remove that limitation that you're obligated to always be afraid of loose gravel.
Now, have they told you that that's what's limiting them? How are you determined?
They don't always. And that's the beauty.
So are you getting the message as a medium, like from the spirit world?
Yeah, a lot of it gets channeled to me.
Wow.
Yes.
And many people won't even know what you're speaking of. So I'm trying to pull the information out from you that a lot of people, you'll be introducing them to this,
Right. It's energy. And so it was the energy, and that's what we're working on, an energetic level. No one questions how your computer or your phone is running on energy, but we're all energy. We're energetic beings.
Oh, it is.
And so to be able to release that, and that's what I love about theta. Theta, you don't have to know exactly who said or did what. You remember the feeling, and then we're able to release that feeling so that it no longer.
Are
And that was
you using them when you're doing this, or is it more like Reiki where you're using their aura? How are you removing it from them?
so it doesn't need to be in person. It's energy. So most of the work that I do is virtual. With that person's permission, I will tap into their energetic field. And we're able to, sometimes I feel it, I see it, however it comes to me as to, okay, this is what we need to address. What does this mean? Checking in with their guides, my guides. How is everybody else, kind of take a poll on what the issue is, and then working with their higher power, whatever that be, and consulting. This is what I'm hearing. This is what they're telling me. What does this really mean, and what do we need to change? And as I get that information and I confirm it with them, we do a lot of
You're a medium. And what people need to understand what that is. Mediums, people think that they're predicting the future. No, spiritual guides, for her spiritual guides are talking to the spiritual guides of the person that she's dealing with. And then they're giving her the information. So that's what a medium is. They're just able to hear, see, all of the above, sense. It depends on the person.
Well, and I think, I do believe that everyone has this ability.
Absolutely. 100%.
David Hawkins even talks about, he doesn't necessarily possess that, but when he is with people who do that, he's better able to connect. But when he's not with people who actively do it, he can't. Confirming that this is how it works. And people can be trained to tap into your intuition and reconnect. And when I work with people, I want them to reconnect and to be able to help themselves. I don't want lifelong clients. I want you to be able to help yourself, teaching you to reconnect and to be able to understand that you don't have to be blocked. And a lot of things are really big things, the big things that happen in our lives. And
So what is SEER? Can you explain that?
okay, the seer, that's a particular method of energy reading. It's a more shaman side. I've relabeled that because
Okay.
that's confusing, but it stands for spiritual evolution energy review. But it is the process. And so when I'm doing an energy review to create your blueprint, we look through the 7 chakras. We start with the outer aura, looking within the aura, and then going through each of those chakras, looking because certain limitations get stuck in certain chakras.
So it's a lot like Reiki then, because that's what
It is. It's
yeah.
very much like. And so going in and looking at those, and if there are things that we see that need healed in the moment, we will heal those and we will take care of them. But also understanding that things stack up and it kind of becomes a Jenga. So blocks here and here and here might be from down here. And when we get down here, we release it. And so with that energetic blueprint, you're able to see where it is that you have blocks in your life, what the next step for creating resolution and being able to stay on your path so that you're filling your need, not just filling up your time.
Dealing with the chakras, balancing the chakras, so few people even know what they are, let alone that they need to be balanced. And that's sad. I'm not even trying to be, because everything's within. The answers are within.
I would say we have the tools to heal ourselves.
Yes.
When you got to quiet the mind.
Yes.
Quiet the mind. Stop the chatter. Get off the electronics.
Yes. Get off your phone.
Get off your phone. And when I channel information, the books that I've written, the meditations, all of those things, those come to me usually first thing in the morning.
Wow. Right when you
I'll have thoughts. I'll be thinking about things, and my brain just spins at night. And depending on how people do things, how you call on your guides. Some people call on specific set of guides. I just bring a lot of guides with me. I have lots of guides.
I'm assuming you believe in reincarnation. So, most, I don't know anyone that doesn't in this world that we're talking about.
Yeah. And they show up when they're needed. My family, we share Smoking Man, and Smoking Man is one of 3 people. And when things are deep, when there's big decisions to be made, there's difficulties, there's things where you really just need that loving support of someone who is very, very strong in our lives. We smell Smoking Man. It's the cool cigarettes.
You smell it. You literally smell
you smell it. You taste it. Yeah. My kids are aware of Smoking Man as well. Yeah.
Oh, wow. How old are your kids?
21 and 31.
Oh, wow. Okay. We never would have guessed you're old enough to have that. That's awesome.
I'm not. But so when I call on my guides, and those who are needed show up. I don't call on them by name per se. Some people do. And if that works for you, then please keep doing it. But when I can't sleep at night because I've got something going, I will assign that task to my guides. Call on my guides, whoever shows up. It's kind of like a boardroom. Those who want to take this task and to work through this are going to work on it overnight. And I make it very clear that I'm not to be interrupted. I need my sleep.
Yeah.
I'm happy to listen to you in the morning. And so I wake up in the morning and I have that notebook handy because I am ready to go. I have got so much content that way. Especially I'm working on my second book right now. And
really, what's your first book?
The book is Blooming into Life.
Okay.
It's kind of my story of overcoming all the obstacles to have the life I have, finding your way through those and looking at them as opportunities. Those obstacles are opportunities.
You wouldn't know happiness if there wasn't sorrow. There's a yin and yang to everything. You wouldn't know light with darkness. People need to understand that. Also, with the past life thing too, I try to explain to people when someone's raped and killed at 5 years old, a lot of times that's because they were someone that did that in another life. Your soul only learns through human experience, through the touch, smell, feeling, your senses. And it's the only thing I can make sense of when stuff like that happens. But it's because you've got something going on well past the life that you're currently in, and you choose to come here to experience that for your soul's experience to You know what I
Well,
mean?
and that's with theta healing. So theta healing
Mhm.
goes back 7 generations.
Does it
When we
really? Oh, wow.
when we clear something for you, it
Uh-huh.
is cleared 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. The lesson's been learned. And a lot of things that we clear are those ancestral obligations.
Uh-huh.
Your ancestors said, women can't own businesses, women can't
Yeah.
manage money,
Yeah.
those type of things, or the man's got to be the leader, that getting rid of a lot of those stereotypes that we bring into this life that we carry with us, and it doesn't fit now.
No, it doesn't. We're
It's
advanced.
not your
We've
obligation.
evolved.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Thank God we have. Now,
Yeah.
do you work by yourself? Are you just slammed with work that you don't like? Do you work with other people? When you say we, are you talking about your spiritual guides, or do you work with other people with your gifts?
So the individuals that I've gone through classes with, I have other coaches that if
Okay.
you came to me and for some reason it's like, this just isn't a fit. Not everyone is my customer. And
Sure.
if what you're asking for is just something that I'm not a good fit for, I'm going to refer you to someone who does. If it's something that you need that I don't offer, I'm going to find out who does.
Mhm.
And so I work with other uh, shamans, theta healers,
Wow.
Reiki masters, and I refer that out if it's not a good
But
fit.
theta is so much like Reiki. It just seems to me like you do offer, especially looking at your website. And I would like you to take me through that. So if I were to come to you and I just don't feel healthy. I feel bloated. Um, it's probably some of it's diet, but or maybe I'm drinking too much, not enough water, blah, blah, blah. What I'm trying to say is like, because you've got all these detox kits. What you would do if I came to you?
So usually when we start with a discovery call is how most people will come through. They're like, all right, you got this whole website of all this stuff, like you just said. What is it that I need? And so we talk about what are you experiencing? What is it if my magic wand were fully charged? What is the one thing that's most important for you to change? We're
Gotcha.
not fixing anything. You are not broken. You
Gotcha.
need change.
Gotcha.
You need to change things. And so a lot of it is identifying patterns. So if it is something that, it's clearly your physical health is just really not where you need to be. A very efficient way would be going through the homeopathic. And so we're going to talk about that as far as what remedies and things and detoxes you need, or if you just need to, if it's a long-term chronic thing that we need to address. You didn't get here overnight. It's not going to change overnight. I also, as far as the homeopathic stuff, I also do acute things. So kind of being on call for people. You have the basic kit that you buy, and then when you've got a headache, you can't sleep, you've got isolated incident of some
Yeah.
bloating and gas,
Uh-huh.
the poison ivy, those bug bites, those things. We're going to tell you how to treat those so that you're just going to go to your
If I
kit
have
and
arthritis, what do you do if I have arthritis?
arthritis is you're going to do the rest tox, but it's a chronic thing, so
Yeah.
you're going to do it in a higher potency, the 200 Cs.
What if I came to you and I've got trauma from childhood sexual abuse?
Then we're probably going to go back and we're going to address that more on the spiritual side, and we're going to get rid of those traumas and release those traumas. We're going to do a lot of forgiveness, and this happened when you were a child. This wasn't about you. You weren't a bad person. You had no choice, and understanding that. And then all the forgiveness work you need to do with yourself for beating yourself up for all these years and holding it, and getting it to a place that is going to release that. Does it take away that it happened? No. But when we're done working, it's not emotional. It becomes more of a matter of fact. This happened, but we've released those emotions and those traumas that got tied to it that then shape everything else you do in your life.
Couldn't have been more well said. And my question on the detoxes, I saw different varieties of detoxes that you offer. How often should people be doing these detoxes? I know that some different ones are going to be different lengths of time, but can you go into the detoxes a bit, because you've got several options with those detoxes?
So the vitality reset, I think, is what we named it.
Mhm.
It's a biome. It is your gut. So it's establishing your gut health, and your gut is how we take in so much of what we do in our lives.
Mhm.
So it's recommended that you just do that first,
Mhm.
and then you're set up to your body is healthier to do the other detoxes, the more specified detoxes to doing that. And this one contains things like the pneumonia, the strep, the Gardnerella, all the different things that you've been exposed to in our over the courses of our lives. That is done pretty much once, but if you get sick, if you've been sick, you've had a health setback, then you would repeat this. You would do it again.
Okay.
And you will have the supplies, once you buy this kit from me, you will have the ability to repeat it again at least once.
Oh, from the
Now-
kit purchased. It's two of them. Okay, got you.
Yeah,
Can you please go into two other things for me on the package? The stem cell activation. What is that all about?
Oh, that is the LifeWave patches. And
Okay.
of course, I don't have a package on my desk. Oh my goodness. The LifeWave products. LifeWave products have been around for, I believe, 20 years now. They started out with the energy enhancer and the energy enhancer patches, and the patches are just the size of a quarter. There are no drugs in them whatsoever. It's the way the material is woven that it reflects the light into your body.
Oh, okay.
So these patents and
Never heard
they're awesome. They're awesome.
Mhm.
Let me get you a link. So the energy patches were originally created and they were developed with the Navy SEALs as far as being able to recover after exercise, and increasing that there. But then the stem cell activation patch came out, I believe in 2019, the X39, and we are beings of light. Whenever they do thermography, it's the light you're reflecting. There's
Sure.
nothing going to you, so light you're reflecting. So
100%.
we know our bodies reflect light, and by reflecting the light, it then activates the copper peptide, and that is what then activates stem cells. And we know we are born with a whole bucket of stem cells, and as we age, we have less and less and less and less and less, which makes it harder to rejuvenate. If you have an injury, you did the same injury when you were 20 years old, boom, you were back at it. You're
Yes.
40, 50 years old. You don't bounce back as
Believe me,
quickly.
I know. I'm 50 and I feel it from pickleball. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. So if your body is stimulated to grow more of its own stem cells,
Mhm.
then those stem cells are going to go wherever you want. And when I started it, I'd already had a hip replacement, so we were too late on doing much with that.
That
But
one. You're too late on that one. That's what you're
I
saying.
was too late to address that with the patches, but my knee
Mhm.
was killing me. And again, there are places for Western medicine, and they really wanted to replace my whole knee. It's like, nah, guys, no, we're just going to do an arthroscopic. We're going to clean out the floating pieces.
Yes.
But I started with the patches, and I was putting them on my knee because my knee hurt.
Mhm.
Within 2-3 days, my knee quit hurting.
Wow.
I still went and had the surgery because
Well,
there was.
you got to get the other stuff.
And then there's the X49 that also brings in and helps to do. They of course we cannot claim anything, that cures it or anything, but there are testimony after testimony after testimony. The 90-year-old man who was on hospice and 6 liters of oxygen, his daughter said, well, let's patch him. What do we have to lose? She patched him, and he's no longer on hospice. He's out driving his lawnmower. He's no longer on oxygen. He,
Wow.
is living a quality of life. And I think that that's kind of the crux of it all. It's the quality of life. If you're happy taking 90 pills a day and, shuffling along, hey, it's your life. It's your
Yes.
life. When
I've never met
really,
anyone happy that I've never met
no,
anyone
they're
that's
not really
happy doing
happy.
that.
No.
I've never met one that even claims they are
Yeah.
when they're in that state. And what else? Tell me about the float center that you mentioned at your mom's office. Please explain that.
So I started floating. My girlfriend found this program for fibromyalgia, and I was 27 years into a fibromyalgia diagnosis. Impacted my life significantly. And she says, "You got to try it. You got to try it." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." The nearest float center was 2 hours away. I floated. My first float was um, interesting. It was scary. Bottom line, emotionally, it was scary.
Are you dark? Are you in a dark place doing
Yeah.
this? Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yep. When I came out, although I was mentally exhausted, I will be honest about that. I didn't have pain. First time in 27 years, I did not have pain. It's
Wow.
like, okay, we got to figure out how to do this. And so I continued to participate in the fibromyalgia study, and I just kept feeling better and better. And it's like, dude, everyone has got to do this. And so I brought a float center to Southeast Iowa.
What are you doing when you're floating? What are you floating in? What, I know it's water of some kind, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it's a pod. I
Okay.
have the pod unit, which is bigger, and
Okay.
it's white on the inside.
Okay.
It is 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt dissolved in 100 gallons of water,
Oh, okay.
heated to skin temperature at a perfect 94.5 degrees.
Okay.
So you shower before you get in. When you get in, you lay down. The water line comes up on your forehead, across your temples, and under your chin. It's like your face floating in the water, and you're in dark and silence. You can turn the light on inside if you want it.
Mhm.
You turn off that light, you're in dark and silence, and you're doing absolutely nothing. Your body is actually floating. And because you're not touching anything,
What's the difference between that and Epsom salt bath? I was just going to say, people take Epsom salt baths. What's the difference? You know what I mean?
Because it's 10 pounds to a gallon. You can't dissolve that in your bathtub at home.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
And you don't have room in your bathtub at home to go like this.
Yeah.
In being heated to the perfect temperature,
Mhm.
because you're not touching anything, you have no proprioception, you have no signals coming. If you're laying in your own bed, if you're on water, if you're on land, you have nothing. And so your brain gets the opportunity to reset. This is a neurological reset. Yes, it deals with
Never.
so many amazing chronic pain, PTSD. There's the Float Collective, the Float Research Collective is doing all the formal studies. A single float lasts you 24 hours in feeling good, where a narcotic pill lasts you 4 to 6 hours. So treating the chronic pain, and the more you float, the longer it lasts, all of those great things. But just giving your brain a reset, it helps you sleep better. You have better, so because you're sleeping better, you have better focus, you have better everything. You
Yes.
block off 2 hours of time. I recommend everyone starts with a 90-minute float.
Okay.
Takes most people 40 minutes to get there.
Mhm.
And if you have a meditative practice at all, you're going to be there in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're really going to get a lot out of this. But you're gravity free. The Navy SEALs have done studies and research for concussion recovery, because it allows the brain to have that much rest. We offer a concussion program where you come in and float. My clients who've come in after concussion, just one float, and they're like, "Wow, the fog is lifting." It's very profound.
That's amazing. I've never seen someone offering as many services as you are in one spot, and how well defined it is on your website. So everyone needs to check that out. So the last thing I always want to ask for the audience is, why would somebody come to you, Amanda? What would you 3 sentences or however many you want? Why would someone come to you?
I'm open. I'm honest. I want to meet you where you are, and I want to help you meet and exceed your goals in however we can do that. If it's with floating, if it's with homeopathy, if it's with the theta healing, you don't need to go through this alone. There's a lot of big changes, a lot of big things in life. You can be honest. I've done a lot of different jobs. I've had a lot of different careers. I've raised 2 happy, healthy young adults, and shock value just doesn't happen. It's a judgment-free zone. I want to help you live the best life that you can. It's about you. That's why I think that working with me is a benefit for you.
Oh, I couldn't have said it better, Amanda. Thank you very much for your time today.
Well, thanks for having me, Kevin.
You're welcome.